Arkansas is going backwards under Sam Pittman. Ever since his second season in 2021 when they went 9-4, the Razorbacks have regressed ever since. They went 7-6 in 2022 and they're 2-1 right now, and they are coming off a really upsetting loss to BYU, 38-31. And let me tell you guys something. Razorbacks fans are really, really upset with Sam Pittman. And there are a lot of Arkansas fans who feel like he should be on the hot seat. Now, nobody's calling for him to get fired right now. And I'm not saying that Sam Pittman needs to be fired, but his job security definitely has to be put in question at this point because Arkansas is not moving forward. You're Arkansas. You should not be losing to BYU. And I get that Arkansas plays one of the toughest schedules in the country every single season. I get that. Arkansas fans get that. Arkansas fans are not expecting to compete for national championships, or they're not even expecting to be a playoff contender. They would love to be. They hope they can get to that point, but they just want to get back to the level that they used to be when they used to be a consistent 9-10 win program year after year. And they haven't been that in decades, or in a decade since Bobby Petrino. You look at Sam Pittman in 2021 when they went 9-4, you thought that Arkansas was starting to get back to what they used to be, being that consistent 9-10 win program. But instead, they go 7-6, they lost to Liberty, and then this year, you lose to BYU. Arkansas's defense still doesn't look all that great. It looks a little bit better, but not incredibly better. We're going to get more of a good indicator of how good this defense is this week against LSU. But offensively, they definitely look like they've taken huge steps back. Not just one step back, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps back, because they lost their offensive coordinator who went to TCU. And their new offensive coordinator is Dan Enos. And me being a Miami Hurricanes fan, I'm going to tell you Arkansas fans, be prepared for a disappointing year on offense because Dan Enos is not a good play caller. I don't even know why he was hired to be the offensive coordinator for Arkansas. When I saw Dan Enos was hired as the OC for Arkansas, I laughed and I said, have fun with that. Because when he was calling plays from Miami, he was dog shit, and he got thrown out to the wolves pretty fast by Manny Diaz. So if you're a Razorback fan and you're hoping that this offense is going to improve, just go back and watch some tape when Dan Enos was calling plays for the Miami Hurricanes, and you're going to have a pretty good understanding of what you're going to be in for this year. It's going to be tough sledding. KJ Jefferson had an uncharacteristic game against BYU, turning the football over, something that he doesn't really do that often. He's one of the most efficient quarterbacks in college football. This offense just doesn't look the same, and we knew that going in. Arkansas kind of had some questions offensively. They were bringing in a couple of guys from the transfer portal who they are expected to be key contributors on offense this year. You got a new OC, which, you know, it always takes a little bit of time to get acclimated to a new play caller, but losing to BYU, fam, I don't think nobody expected that. It doesn't matter how good BYU is this year. You're Arkansas. You're playing in the Southeastern Conference. You should not be losing to Brigham Young University. I'm sorry. You should not be losing to them. You are Arkansas. You should be able to beat BYU. And what's upsetting about looking back at that game is that Arkansas had a pretty big lead on those boys at one point and just completely collapsed and imploded on themselves. This program has yet to get back to what they used to be in the prime years of Arkansas football when they had, God rest his soul, Ryan Mallett at quarterback. And you know, this was actually one of the best teams in the SEC. They weren't competing for championships or anything, but there used to be a time when you used to play Arkansas, and if you were an Alabama fan, like, you got a little bit nervous. Now, when you play Arkansas, you don't really get nervous at all. You know that they're not going to be great defensively, and offensively this year, they may take a step back from what they have been offensively the past couple of seasons. Sam Pittman, I definitely think it's fair to say that he should be put on the hot seat. This program hasn't done anything since 2021 that has topped that season. You see, you want to continue to elevate. You're supposed to be moving forward in life. You're not supposed to be going backwards. And Sam Pittman just has his program going backwards. And he's not one of those offensive gurus, defensive gurus. He's a CEO head coach, which means that he hires guys to call the plays on offense and defense, and he just sits back and manages the team. Dan Enos, it looks like they may need to make a quick change at offensive coordinator very fast if they can, because I don't see this offense getting better. I don't think this is just early season rust. I really think that Dan Enos is going to hinder the performance of this offense, and he's going to make KJ Jefferson regress. I'm not hating on Dan Enos. I don't have anything against the brother, but all I do is just give my opinion. And the last time I saw Dan Enos calling plays for my Hurricanes, he was terrible. And Arkansas fans, I think you're probably going to get the same out of Dan Enos. I don't think much has changed out of him. Like I said, defensively, I think that you do look better, but we're going to see just how better you look truly against LSU and when you get into the meat and potatoes of your conference schedule. But Sam Pittman, man, it definitely has to be a little bit of heat on that seat when he sits down in his coach's office at his coach's desk, because Arkansas isn't taking the steps in the right direction that you're hoping for if you're a Razorback fan. I mean, in 2022, we get they dealt with a boatload of injuries, but even still, they lost to Liberty. They could have been an 8-9 win team easily last year. And this year, yeah, the season's not over. I mean, you still got a lot of ball left and you got a lot to play for. You're just 2-1, but losing to BYU is a really ugly loss, and a loss that kind of makes you look at Sam Pittman. It makes you start having some tough conversations. There are many Razorbacks fans who are not pleased with how this team has performed under Sam Pittman the last couple of years since that 9-win season in 2021.